Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some more fundamental analysis on Bitcoin because, guys, it's very easy for you to get caught up, especially if you're newer to the space, thinking that the only chart in Bitcoin that matters is the Bitcoin price action chart. But in fact, that is just one of many different charts that you should be looking at to get a wide understanding of this market. And in this video, I'm going to show you a lot of other charts that are not technical analysis, they're fundamental analysis. We're going to use these charts to derive what Bitcoin is doing, where Bitcoin is heading, and how much headroom Bitcoin has in the next rally that it may go into here in the next several weeks or so. This is an angle that we don't cover very often on the channel, but we're going to change that because this is really important. I think you guys are going to get a ton of value out of today's video. If you do, as always, hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps out the channel when you do that. I'd be very appreciative. Before we just go ahead and dive on into all of these different charts, guys, I do want to mention one thing, and that would be the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, CT2A is what's paying for all of the expansion that we're doing around here, and I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying the Academy. A ton of you guys have joined this month. If you'd like to join the Academy and start learning everything you need to know about technical analysis so that you can profit in the massive bull run that's coming in the next couple of years on Bitcoin, I encourage you to check us out at the link in the description down below. More on that at the end of the video, but for now though, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Not bad. Guys, the last several days on Bitcoin have undoubtedly been bearish. Bitcoin has pulled back 5 consecutive days in a row. We've had a bearish cross between our 20 and our 50 exponential and simple moving averages. We had a cross on the hash ribbons, but we still haven't had a buy signal flash. MACD has continued bearish when it looked like it was going to turn bullish. Stochk RSI has jumped down here into oversold territory, and the RSI is trending to the downside as well. All of those things are very bearish for the next 10 to 14 days or so, but they're actually either neutral or bullish for the longer-term perspective, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video is the longer-term perspective. Nothing I said in the last couple of videos is changed. I still have an opinion that Bitcoin's going to break to the downside. We're talking about the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, way out there in investing timescales, so I want to make that clear at the outset. Before we jump on to all of the other charts over on Glassnode and Social Blade and everywhere else that we're going to be looking at, there are a few things I want to show you on the Bitcoin chart as well, though. I want you guys to remember, please do not forget all of the bullish things happening out here on the weekly chart. Remember, the weekly chart is a much longer term time frame than the daily chart, which means that something can happen in the next couple of weeks and it might not even really show up on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we're seeing a bullish cross between these two moving averages, the bottom one being the 20 weekly EMA, the top one being the 50 weekly SMA. The last 3 times that this has happened in the entire history of Bitcoin, it has resulted in an immediate and substantial bull market. We're having that cross confirmed when the next weekly candlestick opens. There's no way that it won't be confirmed right now. Furthermore, a lot of you guys are getting really excited about the hash ribbons on the daily chart. Well, guess what? Look at the weekly chart. They're converging on themselves too, and we'll likely be getting a buy signal out of them in the next couple of weeks on the weekly chart, which will most certainly be substantial. Also, keep in mind the 200 weekly simple moving average. You can't forget that. Every time Bitcoin bounces off of this moving average, we eventually enter a bull market. The first time that happened was in 2015 right here, as you can see. Second time that happened was right here at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. Bitcoin entered a 350% bull market, and we just bounced off of it again. And so far to date, even though we're flagging out, we've only rallied 80%. We should be expecting more than that in the future. On top of that, whenever Bitcoin's above the 20 weekly EMA, this bottom yellow line right there, Bitcoin is almost always in a bull market during that time. Look at 2016-17, Bitcoin never fell below that moving average. During bear markets, however, it used it as resistance. Bitcoin, even though we're a little bearish on the short term, is still above that moving average. That is a big deal. All of that to make the point that the short term for Bitcoin can be whatever it wants, but the long term for Bitcoin is still very bullish from a technical standpoint. But what do the fundamentals say on Bitcoin? Are the fundamentals for or against a bullish long-term perspective and outlook on Bitcoin? Well, guys, I'm just going to tell you right up, they are overwhelmingly, resoundingly bullish. Let me show you why. If you don't know what Glassnode is, well, you should probably know what Glassnode is. Glassnode is a website that has a collection of a massive amount of fundamental indicators and charts that we can use to read into the long-term perspective on Bitcoin, and these are a couple that we're going to be discussing. The new addresses chart with a 30 moving average going through it, and the active addresses chart with a 30 moving average running through it. What we have here is a linear chart for Bitcoin plotted underneath a 30 daily moving average of new non-zero addresses in Bitcoin. That basically means there's a new address and it has something in it. It wasn't just created and is empty, because that would be useless information. I want you to notice something. The number of new non-zero addresses hit 600,000 during the last bull market peak at the end of 2017 when Bitcoin rallied to all-time high. Of course, Bitcoin hasn't gone back to that. Until recently, the high was about 66% of the way there at 400,000 new non-zero addresses in that 30-day period back in July of 2019 when Bitcoin hit 14,000. That went into a slump, but notice what happened here. Bitcoin's new non-zero addresses went down as Bitcoin collapsed. But when Bitcoin started this bull market, remember me saying this for video after video after video, when Bitcoin rallied and outpaced the DJI, the SPY, gold, oil by a long shot. I guarantee you the real estate market, but that data takes time to come in. When Bitcoin did all of that, that was going to generate a lot of interest in this space for people that were not already in this space. Guess what happened following that? Bitcoin had the highest number of new non-zero addresses. That's showing influx of new people into the space that we have seen since Bitcoin hit all-time high. 50,000 new non-zero addresses over what we had previously seen as the peak. This chart is very clear. It's very, very clearly trending back to where we were at the end of 2017. By the way, if we zoom out and look at this 450,000 high that we set here in the last month or two, that's actually the second highest peak on this chart in the history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never seen a peak that high other than $20,000. That's a hugely bullish sign and shows that even in a quote-unquote bear market, Bitcoin is still having a massive influx of people while the price action is still low. What does that tell you? It means that the underlying value of Bitcoin has gone up because more people are accepting it as currency, more people are investing in it, more people are joining this space, but the price action hasn't responded, which means the price action is lagging, which means the price action is going to go up, which means that's a great buy signal for a long-term investment. I hope you followed my logic there. I know I talk quickly, but there's a lot to cover. Now let's look at another one. This is similar, but this isn't identical. This is Bitcoin's active addresses with a 30 daily moving average running through it. Obviously, at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, that would have been the highest. We had 1 million active addresses in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. When Bitcoin fell, that was cut in half all the way down in mid-April, just 3 months later. Obviously, a massive amount of people left the space. We're going to see that in the charts we're about to look at as well. But ever since then, what has this chart been doing? In the same way that we can analyze trends over on the price action chart, we can analyze trends here. We've been setting higher lows, and we've been setting higher highs. In fact, the second highest high in the history of Bitcoin, the number of active addresses, is sitting at 900,000. That looks a lot lower than this, but this peak is actually only 1.1 million. We're only about 20% below where we were at the end of $20,000 bull run when Bitcoin had the entire mainstream media behind it. It had all of the news outlets. I mean, all of them. All of the YouTubers. Everybody was talking about Bitcoin at the end of 2017. And guess where we are right now? We're pretty much back to where we were then without all of that. So imagine what's going to happen when all of that does come back, when all of that fundamental interest, when all of that media attention comes back, when you see even more industries and even more major companies and governments getting involved in Bitcoin than they already are. What happens then? Moonshot. That's what happens. We've been slowly building and building and building the kindling because somebody at the end of 2017 just took a bucket of water and dumped it on our fire. But we've been slowly building and building and building and building and building back up. And when Bitcoin starts breaking big levels like $14,000, that might be 2 years from now. Who knows? But when that happens, that's going to be equivalent to someone dousing it in gasoline and it's going to explode. So I'm not saying that to make you FOMO. I'm saying that in such extreme terms because I want you to understand the powder keg that we're sitting on top of that is waiting to explode. It is so easy to get bearish on the market when you hear me or other analysts talk about a short-term downtrend. But guys, I need you thinking long-term here. I need you seeing the forest for the trees. I need you seeing the long-term future. The game that we are playing is not the battle. We are playing for a war, and the war is very clearly going in our favor, even if Bitcoin has been in a downtrend for 3 years. I don't care if Bitcoin's in a downtrend for 30 years. I'm more interested in the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are bullish as ever. So let's jump over to something I call the YouTuber Fundamental Indicator, which is a way of reading the interest in the space based on the subscriber metrics and viewership metrics of different YouTubers. I have Social Blade pulled up for my friend Carl over at the Moon, for Data Dash's channel, and for my channel, because all three of us are decently sized YouTubers, both of them being much bigger than me, but we have analytics here that we can read into. Let's start with Nicholas Martin over at Data Dash. Look at this weekly chart for subscriber figures. Can you guess when this little peak right here in his subscriber figures, where he was getting 25,000, 23,000 subscribers in a week was? Yeah, it was at the end of 2017 when Bitcoin was peaking and the altcoin cycle was a month behind and it was peaking in mid-January. That's when he was getting 50,000, 100,000 subscribers in a month. You see that happen to a lot of crypto YouTubers. They explode because the YouTube algorithm favors them. But it's not just the YouTube algorithm, it's Bitcoin being remarkably bullish. We saw that happen back in 2017. Nicholas Martin's channel exploded, and the same thing happened for a lot of the other YouTubers. Crypto Nick, his channel was booming when he deleted it because of the whole BitConnect scandal. But now let's look at channels like Carl's and mine, because we weren't really around back during the 2017 market as far as being YouTube content creators was concerned. There are two peaks in the weekly subscriber figures for Carl's channel, and the same thing is true for mine. There are two peaks here, and right here. What do you think these two peaks correspond to? May 13th last year and pretty much May 13th this year as well. They're about a year apart. Well, what was going on in May of last year? May, Bitcoin was exploding and rallying to $14,000. This May, Bitcoin was exploding and rallying to $10,000. So what we essentially see here, if we stitch together a composite of 3 different YouTubers to cover 3 different periods of time, we see that there's a subscriber boom here, a subscriber boom here, and a subscriber boom here. A lot of people were subscribing to Nicholas Merton here, a lot of people were subscribing to Carl here, and a lot of people were subscribing to me here. What does that tell you? It tells you that a significant number of new people are entering the space. Obviously, we saw that over here on the new addresses figure. The 3 highs that have happened in the last 3 years at December 25th, Christmas, May of last year, and May of this year. Those figures match up perfectly, but here's what's so interesting to me, is that we saw a peak right here in July for subscribers and for new addresses on my channel, Carl's channel, Data Dash's channel, and this chart. But if you look at the peaks here, the peaks for Carl and especially the peaks for me were actually bigger in this recent rally in May than they were back here when we were making content over here. We got more subscribers with a lower dollar value on Bitcoin. What does that tell you? It tells you that even though Bitcoin is at a lower price figure, Bitcoin is even more efficient at getting people interested in the space. That is a really big deal, guys, because if Bitcoin can attract the same number of people or close to the same number of people as we saw in the new addresses figure when Bitcoin only rallies to $10,000, as we saw when Bitcoin rallied to $20,000, that means 2 things. One, it means Bitcoin, like I said, is far better at attracting new members to the space, but I also think a lot of those new members to the space were people that left back in 2016 and 17, or maybe at the end of 2017, 2018, and they're coming back and they're being registered as new subscribers, new addresses, because they've been gone for so long. I think that this industry is getting more efficient at getting new people, new businesses, new industries involved in crypto, and we're also getting more efficient at bringing people who initially left back. And the place that all these thoughts need to land, guys, is right here. As all of these fundamentals have been growing and increasing and getting stronger in the last 3 years, what has Bitcoin's price action been doing? According to this downtrend, it's been setting lower highs. But what happens when you set a ton of consecutive lower highs, but the bullishness is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger? What did I say a second ago? You're sitting on a powder keg and you're waiting for Bitcoin to break out. And when it does, things go crazy. Now, again, please, I caution you, I'm not saying this to FOMO you. I'm not saying this to make you want to go and sell your house. I'm not saying this to put your life savings into Bitcoin. Be cautious. Don't let your emotions control you. I mean that, guys. I'm dead serious. If you listen to what I'm saying here and you let it affect you too emotionally, you want to have a little bit of emotion, a little bit of excitement so you understand, but you don't want it to be controlling you. Be careful. But at the same time, things do look very good for Bitcoin. The number of people entering the space, the number of people that are still active in the space, the number of new subscribers in the space, the viewership on YouTube, the massive fundamental changes that are happening on YouTube. Remember back to 2017, some of you guys who were here, the YouTube space had no professionalism in cryptocurrency. None. I'm not bashing the people that were back there. It was just an early industry. It just wasn't very well structured yet. It's getting pretty dang professional now, and I'm really happy about that. People like myself, Ivan on Tech, Data Dash, Carl, all these people putting out amazing, high-quality content. YouTube is one of the greatest platforms for getting people interested in Bitcoin. I'm so happy that the YouTube space here is growing so much, and that's why I love doing this so much, is because it allows me to get people interested in a space that they may not have otherwise known about. So guys, to put a bow on this video, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to think long-term. What is the vision here? What is the long game? Where is Bitcoin headed? If you understand that, you're going to be a lot more confident in your investments, and at the end of the day, learning to trade is very important, but learning to invest is also important. If you guys are just trading and not investing, my opinion, not financial advice, you're making a huge mistake. We're in on the ground floor of something incredible, and I promise you guys, when it's 20 years from now and you're looking back and you didn't invest what you thought you could have safely, keyword safely, you're probably going to regret it. I'm very comfortable with the investment that I have. It's not too much, it's not too little. I'm happy with it. Hopefully you guys can say the same. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it for today's video. Tell me in the comments section down below if you would like to see more of these long-term fundamental kind of videos. I want to do more of these, especially in times where Bitcoin is a little bit boring on like the daily to the hourly chart. Bitcoin isn't doing a whole lot today, so I figured we go ahead and talk about something longer term. I think it's a great window of opportunity to do that. So let me know what you think about these kinds of videos down below. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it for this video. But before we go, I do want to mention one thing, and that would be CT2A. Guys, today is the 27th of June, and on the 1st of July, in about 5 or 6 days, I'm going to be increasing increasing the price of CT2A by another $50, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive to get in. The reason that we're doing that is because we've added so much content to CT2A, and there's about to be so much more added. So if you guys want to join the Academy right now for the price that is active right now of $249, $209 with a coupon code, you're going to get access to a ton of information, a ton of high-quality educational content so that you guys can learn these markets as quickly as possible. A bull market's coming, and you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines not knowing how to take advantage of it. I guarantee you guys that is worth so much more. Knowing how to trade markets, that's worth every single penny. There are a lot of people that get into cryptocurrency, and here's what they do. You know what they do? They get in, they're going along, they're learning a little bit, they think they're doing well, and then boom, they have one big bad trade, and they crash, and they lose half their portfolio, and they're gone. They leave, and they don't come back. I don't think you want to be that person, especially with everything I've just shown you in this video. I don't think you want to be the person who gets slammed in a bad trade. It happens to all of us. It happens to me. It happens to everyone. I don't think you want to be the person that happens to, and then you want to leave. Because if you actually have an idea of where you're going, if you have a trajectory, if you have a destination, if you have direction that I can give you through CT2A, you're not going to leave. You're going to say, man, I screwed up. How can I do better next time? That's what you're going to do, because you're going to understand, yes, this is possible. You can have the confidence of knowing that it is possible to be a profitable trader and investor so long as you continue working on yourself through education and through the learning of technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and all the other psychological tricks that go along with that profession. Guys, learning technical analysis has been the most rewarding and, frankly, the most profitable skill I have ever learned in my entire life, and I could not be happier that I am a part of this industry, and I want to give you guys the same fulfillment that I have every day when I'm here working in cryptocurrency markets. I love talking about this. I love bringing this kind of content to you guys. It's so enjoyable. It feels so strange, like yesterday, when I don't upload a video in the morning because it was pre-recorded. This is part of me now. If you want cryptocurrency to be part of you, if you want to learn something, if you want to earn something, you're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to understand how to do it. So check us out, the link in the description down below. You can also join our free Discord server and talk to some of our students to get testimonial. Guys, I could throw up 500 testimonials of people that have gone through at the Academy on screen right now. Make Taylor edit that for the next 3 hours. I'm not going to do that because I have compassion for her. But guys, with all the web development we're about to start doing when we move into the office, there's going to be a page over on our website with just a list of all the testimonials and screenshots of what people said. When you join the Academy, you get access to all current, all future content, and you're going to get that for life. All future updates, they are yours for no extra payment. I don't do DLC. I'm not a games company, guys. We do have a full 14-day money-back refund guarantee, and yes, you can pay in Bitcoin. Just shoot us an email at cryptojeb@gmail.com, and we'll get that done for you. We just did 2 or 3 Bitcoin payments in the last couple of days, so that's no problem at all. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it for today's video. Thank you so much for listening to my lecture about the Academy. The Academy is what allows us to make all of these upgrades and improvements that we're doing possible, so thank you guys so much. I know a lot of you guys have heard this spiel 100 times. It's how business is done. That's just it. I'm sorry. I want to keep bringing you guys high-quality content, and I love doing it, so thank you guys so much for listening through everything. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just seriously want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, though, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.